What's up you guys, and welcome back to another Reddit reading video. Today we're going to be doing some more r/ProRevenge, so if you enjoy these kind of stories, let me know down in the comments, and if you aren't, then, keep that to yourself, because we don't need that kind of negativity. No, I'm just kidding, but I think today's two stories are about someone who doesn't want to pay someone that needs to be paid. I'm not really sure, you guys know I don't really usually read these stories before I read them to you guys, so here we go. A client refused to pay, so I had some fun. When I have the time to come across interesting projects or clients, I take one-off assignments to create websites, graphics, applications, etc. for said clients. I recently had a client for whom I created a website. Their old website looked like it was created in the early 90s, but it drew a lot of traffic, so the need to update was clear. Like always, we first agreed on the scope and design, and my client showcased his competitor's website for me, explaining what kind of things he absolutely wanted for his site, but better, as he put it. And then I had him sign a standard contract and pay up to a small front fee. Everything went smoothly and I got to work. After the project finished and I sent an invoice to the client, he told me that he wouldn't be paying anymore. During the few days that I had worked, he had watched some YouTube videos about creating websites, and he had come to the realization that he, without any prior experience in web designing or programming, could create an equally impressive site in pretty much the same time as I had, and so he didn't feel like he should pay me anything extra. I reminded him of our contract, and he flat out said that I am free to take him to court, but he won't pay me anything. Obviously, I had no intention of taking him to court because it would result in even more headache than it'd be worth, but I wasn't just gonna let him slide. This website was already live and teeming with visitors, but my client, although they were newfound web design professional, hadn't realized that I was still the only one who had access to the site's backend, which meant I could make any changes to the site and he couldn't do anything about it. So I reminded him about how he told me about all of the competitor's website. I figured the appropriate response would be to write a script that replaces his company's contract details and opening hours with those of his competitors. Every time the site would load, the script would randomly show one of the competitor's contract details instead. I also made it to where the contract requests would also be sent to randomly selected competitors' emails. I chose to inform my client of this and went to enjoy my vacation. Within a week, I received several emails and a call about my client's concerns that something was wrong, that he hadn't received a new client through the site in almost a week, even though his site's visitor count is much higher than before, thanks to the new design and improved SEO that he hadn't yet paid for. I let him know what I had done and told him that I would undo it, but it would take me about an hour, for which I would be charging. Since I was on vacation, I'd apply the rush fee stated on the contract for that hour, and of course, I told him that this would all be added on top of the original fee that he owed me, plus interest for late payment. Naturally, this led to insults and threats being thrown in my direction, to which I calmly responded that I will begin the work once I have the money on my account, and that if he doesn't want to lose any more customers to his competitors, he'd best man up real quick. He tried to call me immediately and I just declined the call. After the second attempt to call me again, I sent him directly to a voicemail. I received an express payment to my account that very next morning. Edit 1. Added details below about the legality of the situation that some have asked about. The client's old 90s style website was running on similarly outdated legacy hosting package. As such, I had convinced him to update his hosting provider in the process. So, I had paid for the hosting and set up a new site on that server. I did not touch his old site at any point. After I was done with the site, I showed it to the client who was happy with it and told me to redirect his domain to the new server. To do this, he gave me the login details to the site where he hosted his domain. I logged in, redirected the domain, and logged out. Then, after it came clear to me that my client hadn't paid and told me that he wouldn't pay me, all I did was modify the code that I had written. That was on the server that I had set up, and the contract stated that it would be my property until the final payment was made. As my client didn't pay, I merely edited code that I owned, on a server that I owned. He could have gone and redirected his domain back to his older server at any point, but even after his newfound web development expertise, didn't know or care how to. The only thing that was illegal was my client refusing to uphold the contract and pay the work that I had done for him. Edit 2. The contract had a clear section concerning rights and responsibilities of both parties, as well as clauses for both what would happen in various scenarios such as work not being carried out, client not paying in time, client wanting to terminate the contract, or client refusing to pay, and what consists of refusal to pay. Refusal to pay would mean that the rights of the ownership are not transferred to the client and that I may remove the site and any files and software I have associated with, as well as modify the site as see it fit, such as replace the site with a simple under maintenance banner. Granted, I should have waited until the client had told me that they wouldn't pay me or until I would have seen the payment to redirect the domain for the client. I had done that. None of this would have happened when he told me that he wouldn't pay I reminded him that the section of the clause in the contract which he brushed off. After this, I wrote the scripts. Sure, I am not proud of what I did and I could have handled it better, but this lapse of judgment got the better of me. And while I'm not proud of what I did, I am happy that I was paid what I was legally owed. Oh man, this is a doozy. This guy seems like he was sort of in the wrong, but only like minor, because he did kind of screw the guy's website up. But he kind of did deserve that, because you know, when you do like client work for people and you have to do like things that involve creativity and stuff, like you have to pay for that stuff. Like he made that for you. Maybe you have to pay for like revisions and stuff like that. But when you do like freelance work like that, you really have to like pay up, or you're a big douchebag. People have to work really hard for that. Actually, let me know in the comments if you agree with what he did or you think that he shouldn't have done that. He did get his revenge. He did get his money times like 3, which is good for him though. And that guy should not have been a douchehole like that. And he was in all his legal rights though. So I would say he's not at fault. He did what he was legally supposed to do. He did what the guy wanted him to do. And the guy just didn't want to pay. Like, what the heck? And we definitely have time for another little revenge story. So, garage manager tries to screw over a loyal customer. Customer gets revenge. Garage owner is awesome. Sorry for mobile format and my bad English. I am American. Mechanics are notorious for not maintaining their personal daily drivers, but the significant other cars are always well maintained because you don't want a broken car and an angry wife. Movo the Volvo may have been a little old, but it gets all of its service done at one garage and has for the last 60,000 miles, all on time with the owner's manual. On the last oil change, the cartridge filter cap was tightened too much, fusing the cap to the block with the force of 1,000 gods. The service writer tried to sell me a new cap and repair, as the air chisel and the plastic cap off. I laughed and asked to speak to the GM, or the owner. I told the GM that this shop has done all my services for the last 60,000 miles. If it was improperly installed, the fault was on them. Of course, the manager still tried to say it wasn't their fault and refused to fix the problem. This got me mad. I said it was obviously that you were going to make this right, and walked over to the wall of the business license, Bureau of Auto Repair cert, etc. I started writing all the business information down on the back of an estimate sheet I was given by the service writer so I can contact the owner. While doing this, I told GM to get my car out of the bay and give me my keys. The tech had drained the oil but refilled it to proper level before letting the vehicle leave the shop. The manager then walks up to me with my keys and a bill for 15 minutes of the shop and 5 quarts of oil. I looked at him and said, "You really want it to be like this?" And the GM replied, "Yeah, I didn't charge the 1 hour minimum, so feel lucky." What an a-hole. So Movo the Volvo and I go to the dealership. I explained what happened in my regular garage and told the Volvo mechanic to fix it proper, about $400. Now that Movo is fixed, I get to work. I did some digging and found the owner and the shop's phone number. I explained to the owner that I would have no choice but to bring a lawsuit against the company to reclaim the damages and legal fees because of GM. I was not willing to fix the problem it had caused by the technician of the shop. After legal fees and costs, this $400 fix could cost the shop thousands in court. The owner cooled me down and was on my side. I met him for lunch the next week and walked him through what happened. He apologized for the problem and went to the garage after lunch. The moment he walked in, the GM walks up and greets the owner. "Hey boss, how?" He gets cut off by the owner saying, "I'm not your boss anymore. Go to the office, wait, and I will tell you why." The owner writes me a check for the dealership bill, refunds me the repair bill, and gives me a ticket book full of free oil changes, a transmission flush, tire rotations, etc. He says, "I have been in this business in this town for 40 years. I take great pride in my company's reputation and hope you keep doing business with us." I reply, "You got my business for life because you made things right." On my way to the shop, I stop and arrange a service appointment for my other car and can hear the owner ripping to the GM. GM walks out of the office and he passes me, mumbles something I couldn't hear. The next time I brought a car in the service, Ryder told me that the GM had moved away from this town because nobody would hire him. Local business owners here talk a lot, and the shop owners let everyone know that GM was dishonest to customers and could possibly damage their reputation with his "not my fault" attitude. Edit, I chopped down the story a bit because I didn't want to write a novel. Let me fill some stuff in. I was an automotive tech for almost 10 years but recently changed to a less physically demanding job. I know my way around a car and keep an old beater alive with duct tape and hope. Movo the Volvo is maintained by the garage, wife's orders. It ensures that my maintenance is done on time and keeps me from sleeping on the couch. I also know my shop liabilities and how the process works to legally recover money from a bad repair job, since I have helped customers with cars and other mechanics that have messed up. The motivation for GM to not eat the repairs was commission pay for the services. If the shop messes up, it comes out of the bonus pay. That, and he's a douchebag. I admit it was very unprofessional with the owner on the phone, should have calmed down more before calling. I threatened legal action because of the GM told me to piss off. I expect the same amount of the owner. The owner told me the GM was a problem employee, but wouldn't go into it, so he already had 2 strikes. The owner met me for lunch because if I caused a scene, it wouldn't be at the shop. That, and around lunch, half the cops in the area would be near the place. Owner is a smart guy. I have apologized to him a few times already for how I acted. If anyone in this story is a hero, it's the shop owner. I'm so glad this guy got his justice. Like, not every day do you see justice at a mechanics, only because they are known for like scamming people out of their money and scamming women and young people. I am glad that this guy knew what he was talking about and like, you know, did what he did. My father-in-law is actually an airplane mechanic, so anytime we take our car anywhere, he's like, he comes and he like handles it, and he's just like, yeah, they're not gonna scam you guys while I'm here. I love that about him. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this r/ProRevenge stories. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn that bell on if you want to hear more. Thank you guys once again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, my lovelies.